Hey everybody, welcome to What Had Happened Was. And I still didn't get the music because I'm sorry, Angela. I don't even have an
What
excuse.
happened was okay. I think you
I
have a
don't
better flow than me though. You'd have to come up with your own
I
chorus.
am actually pretty good with words usually.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I tried to load clips in, remember the other day, and then a bunch of sound came up and I thought I loaded them in without sound, and then I
Oh
did that bit
no.
wrong, and then yeah. So anyway, what it is that the tech gods know that they are not my friends, and
They
so I
stay
think
fucking with us,
they
man.
f
Like
with, yeah,
yeah.
like on a like it's one of those things where they f with me so much that
Yeah.
I I don't understand what I did to deserve it. But
I blame being born in the 80s on everything that fucks with me because I don't understand how to use any of this stuff anymore. Like
I
technology just
wish I
keeps
was
getting
born in the 80s.
dude, but
Now you're
like
gonna get me pissed off about that too.
I so you're actually doing really great for a person
For an
who
old
was
lady
born
who's an
in
AARP.
your era. Don't worry, nobody can tell. You got that black don't crack thing going on.
I just keep
But
looking at Angela Bassett going, she looks good.
she looks fucking good. You know who else looks good? Gabrielle Union.
She looks great.
She did like a 30-year challenge. It was like her now and her from what was that movie with the cheerleaders? Bring It On.
Oh, bring it on. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
and I'm like, how does she look younger?
I
That's
know, I see.
insane. It's
She's
insane. So I
pretty.
got
Yeah,
hope. I got
I
hope
know.
for us old ladies.
Totally.
We're creeping up there.
Totally. Well, wait. Now let me see my. You have so much more light. I'm like, is mine
Oh
too
yeah, I
dark?
got 2 lights. I got 2 lights. I'm like, "Rah, don't look
Well, I actually have like
don't
a
look at my
bunch of.
crap." Oh!
I got a bunch of lights here, but I just did a peekaboo, didn't I? That I did
Oh,
not mean to do that.
hello. Okay. Yeah, you don't need light when you got them.
Okay, but look at
Unfortunately.
we were talking about needing a nip slip to get our numbers up, weren't we?
Yes.
Dude, did you see that? Well, anyway, anybody, I know we digress. Welcome to What Had Happened Was.
Yes.
We are going to talk with Hakeem Dawodu, who is fighting in a couple weeks on the 5th, and he's fighting Mike Trizano,
Nice.
Mike T from the Ultimate Fighter, and it'll be fun to have Hakeem on. He'll jump on with us in a few minutes. And Angie was at the Honda Center last night for UFC 270.
Yes, I
Um,
was.
yeah, and so I watched from home, but we will talk about those fights. But yeah, we should say that for those who maybe don't know, like, yeah, this is episode 49. So we're coming up on nifty
49.
50 next week. So we might have to do something.
Oh,
But
and I didn't realize that there's a break because I'm like, oh, Hakeem's fighting next week, but it is actually
2 weeks.
in 2 weeks. So there's a break. So we got to figure out something special to do for that little break, the little
Yeah,
break in the action.
maybe nifty fit. Yeah, we'll figure something. We can figure something out. If you guys have some ideas, let us
Yeah.
know. But if you haven't noticed, we've started to interview more people and do this live, and that's kind of what was bothering me today, is that the tech has failed me. So if this gets wobbly, I apologize. I have an Ethernet and all these things, and I troubleshooted today, and then when it showed and it worked, and now it's showtime and it didn't work.
Mm.
And so I had I was gonna say a slight meltdown, but it was more than a slight meltdown. So thank God for waterproof mascara.
Hey,
Uh,
well,
um,
as
but
an
I will.
athlete, I definitely understand meltdowns.
But so I will say this: there were entertaining fights. So for those of you who don't know, we actually had Cyril Gahn on our show last week, and even though he didn't
Yes.
win last night, and he was a wonderful guest, was he not?
He was so charming and nice. And you know what? I felt really bad because I was like telling everyone in all these other interviews I was doing, like, yeah, I think Ngannou's gonna take it. And then we did that interview
And
and I'm like,
Ganu, yeah,
uh, I was
I
like,
know.
he's so nice. But yeah, he was an awesome what do you call it? Awesome guest. He was really great. And the fight was not the fight that a lot of people expected it to be. It was a different fight. We saw Stipe Ngannou
Totally.
and they're hitting double legs, doing like the flare and everything, just going to work on the fence. It was really impressive to me. So yeah, great fight, great fight. And hey, at least because he won by wrestling, he didn't get hurt.
You're right. And there's a part of me that was like joking. I wanted to joke and go back and cut our show from last week and cut and like do a voiceover where we both go, I think Francis is gonna win with this wrestling. You know what I mean? Like cut it. And like every time that we said the word like Francis's power, I want to change it to Francis's wrestling. You know what I mean? Like, and so the crazy thing about that is obviously none of us saw that coming. And if you said you saw Francis wrestling, like you lie. Because you're a liar. We did say, I will say this. We did say that it would be smart for Francis to take Cyril down. We definitely said that. I 100% feel very confident in knowing that we said that. And we talked to Cyril about that, whether or not he expected takedowns. Because honestly, when you have a person who moves like Cyril moves, you should take him down. You definitely should.
Yeah.
Right. But I don't know that any of us necessarily expected that Francis could do that, even though he's been in Extreme Couture and he's working with Nick Sick and all these guys. Like I think even though, and we saw him offensively wrestling a little bit that time with Stipe, but but none of us really thought that was going to happen.
I like someone said, Francis Nurmagomedov. Yeah, that was
Totally.
it was really cool to watch, especially you did see glimpses of it in the Stipe fight. There was like a slight moment where Francis he sprawled. He sprawled, he defended the takedown, he started circling around to the back, and then when Stipe was against the fence, he changed levels. So I was like, oh. And as soon as he did that, of course, DC goes, you don't want to do that. You don't want to change levels on Stipe. You don't want to try to take Stipe down. But hey, when you're not fighting a wrestler, that's the time to do it. That's the time to really get comfortable in there shooting for shots, especially someone that's that dangerous. Like if he can shoot on Cyril Gane, he can shoot on any striker out there because Gane's timing is just impeccable.
Yeah, it's interesting. I'm curious here. We can look at some of the but yes, Francis Nurmagomedov, like you said, and I saw somebody posted some pictures with him in the I forget the official name of it, but the hat, that Khabib wears with the white hat, the wiper hat.
That was a good one.
And Merab wears that as well. And so that is really funny. So you know what? We are going to have Jesus or Jesus M. We are going to talk about Figueiredo and Moreno as well. But for now, we're talking about Francis. And one of your friends from the Twitch here, Angie, is saying The Fifth Element, which is, by the way, a great movie.
I love that movie.
I love that movie too.
Yes,
it's amazing.
Okay, no more.
And I love me some Chris Tucker. And I love me. Yeah, no, I know. Because I love me some Gary as well, Gary Oldman.
Yes.
But yes, The Fifth Element, Francis the wrestler, is terrifying. And that is one of the things that I thought of after that is like, okay, so for a while, obviously all of the heavyweights are like, okay, just avoid that punch, right? Okay, cool. Just avoid that punch on the feet and I can win. And then now they're like,
now what?
Really? Like now what? Right. And
now what?
Now what? And as I was watching the fight, I was so, honestly, like you said, we had Cyril on the show, and on paper, so many more ways that Cyril could have won, right? But we always knew Francis is Francis. And we always knew that it could just be one touch from him that could change everything. But the fact that he had added in that wrestling so much was really amazing to me. So then after the fight, I was talking to a friend of mine who works very closely with guys at Extreme Couture. And I said, oh, hey, they must be really excited. And like, I can't believe he did that, with trash knees. And he was like, yeah, like, I couldn't say anything to you, leading up to this, but yeah, like they didn't know what to do, because obviously when he came out with the knee wraps, DC and Joe were talking about it, and it was a whole big thing. And they were like, hey, is that an injury, or does that mean he's going to try to take him down?
Right.
Well, obviously it was an injury, and he had like a real bad injury. And so the fact that he was able to do that, and you always hear about people saying you really need your knees for takedowns, Ange. So the fact that he did everything that he did in that fight without a good knee is like amazing to me.
That it's really impressive. And I'm wondering, I mean, it depends on the injury, how much pressure that knee was taking for the takedowns, because it seemed like, okay, going hard for this takedown once a round is going to be way safer than bouncing around on it for 5 minutes. Like staying on his feet was too intense for his knee, but just exploding once for a takedown, that's something that he could figure out how to do. And especially when you add in like the fence takedowns and stuff, those are a little less taxing on your knees. You don't really have to change level like that when you're just tripping off of the fence. The risk is worth the reward. And like, even if he feels that little bit of instability, once he gets in and once he gets that nice flare double leg, then he's good for the rest of the 5 minutes. So it was a really smart game plan. And who knows, maybe the injury is the thing that got him this win, because if they were both in the firefight, that's a 50-50 fight right there. Like the betting odds were really close. You had two different styles. One guy's power puncher, one guy's a technician, but he was sniping. He was trying Cyril Gane he was sniping. He was trying to set up that big power punch that was going to end the night, and he couldn't because he was on his back, So it's really I think this might have been a blessing in disguise for Francis, because now he has confidence in his wrestling. He's always had those skills, or at least in the last year, he's developed like a crazy amount of skill with his wrestling, but now he has that confidence to use it because he was kind of forced to use it. So that's always nice to see as well.
I like Francis so much. Like to me, he's I hope he doesn't leave, right? Because that was a whole thing that was a little weird after, is that Dana wasn't in the octagon. I guess Dana didn't do the press conference. We have seen that there was some ongoing tension between Markel Martin, who is Francis's agent, and Dana. There was some, text things. They've been vocal about their clashing of heads, which I don't like to see. And I, it's a bummer, that everybody can't get along, And then Joe asked Francis after in the octagon, hey, what are you going to do? Because, the boxing thing is there. It's a possibility. And Francis said something like, hey, if you see this opportunity and I don't know how long it's going to last, like I'm an idiot if I don't explore it.
For sure. And who was it that hit him up and said like, hey, you want a real payday? Was it Gypsy King?
It might have been Gypsy King.
Yeah. I mean, it's like when someone offers that, you're like, I know I'm gonna get my ass beat, but why not? That's a lot of money.
That's what I was gonna say. Because like, as much as I love Francis and I know that his power changes everything, a boxer, Gypsy King, some of they are more active. They're lighter. Even though they're big men. If you've been always a boxer, I don't.
Yeah, that was.
I just don't know how well. Oh, see, that's cool.
Yeah, that's pretty good. I mean, I feel like I would fight him for 30 mil. Like,
what are you? That's what I'm saying. And so
like, just don't kill me, so I can enjoy the money afterwards.
That's my point. Is I don't want to see him go. But darn it! Like, why wouldn't you try it?
Why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you? But I gotta say, I am a little excited to see Francis taking a stand, because there's always going to be that trickle down effect. If you have a heavyweight champion who is demanding being paid more, then it has to affect the people underneath. So I think it's very brave of him doing what he's doing, and I hope they can come to an agreement, because he deserves it, man. Like, the MMA is hard, especially as a heavyweight. Oh my God, it is so dangerous. You can be fucked up for life. Like, it's
Yes.
there's permanent damage being done to these people. You only have one body, so why not get paid to destroy it? Why not get paid for that? So kudos to Francis for taking a stand, and we'll see what happens. Come on,
I
Dan,
hope he
please.
stays, please, because also too, like, and this is nothing against any other, heavyweight champion that has come
Mhm.
before him, but you walk Francis out to the world and you say, "This is our dude," and everybody goes, yep, yep, yep.
Yeah.
That's a real ass fighter. Like he
Yeah.
and I so appreciate everything that he has done back home in his home country of Cameroon. Like the fact that he came from so little and has made so much and gives back, and he has such a big heart. Like there's so
Yeah.
much about him to root for
Mhm.
that I really hope we get to keep him.
I do too. I really love this age of the good guys. And let me just shout out Randy Rude Boy just rated us on Twitch. So thanks for that, guys.
So
Randy Gang. I think
and
that's what happened.
Terrence Leverett gave us $10, Angie.
Hey, but what do
And
we have to do for it?
Well,
No.
he's got a question, and if I don't answer it now, because I see Hakeem is here, and so we're probably going to get
Okay.
to Hakeem in a second. But Terrence, we will get to that question after the part with Hakeem, and I know that there's some other fights. Other fight questions and other things, and people are talking about Cyril and Francis. And here's the thing, just to kind of conclude that before we welcome Hakeem, I will say this too, though, about Cyril. He was undefeated going into this fight. He's still so new in his career.
Mhm.
And you do hear the whole win or learn thing. We did know, obviously, putting
Mhm.
Cyril on his back was gonna be a good idea. And now, and because it was the same good idea that people used to have against Francis years ago. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So
Yeah.
when you're green in MMA, you start with striking usually. A lot of these guys, and so like, yeah, put them on their back. That's not
Mhm.
unusual. So I will just say that what I do think of as a great takeaway from this is, unfortunately, I know there was the weird, dynamic with Fernan, the coach, and, maybe some weird stuff going on with that. But Cyril is, as we know, a good hearted guy. He's in this to learn and get better. And I think it's going to be really great to see him level up after this. But man, I hope we get to see them both. And I just want people to remember that Cyril is still very green in MMA.
Yeah, it's easy to forget because he's had so much success. They're just like, "Oh, he's going to kill everyone. He's just going to destroy everyone." And you can see it in the way that a lot of people were thinking coming up. A lot of people were predicting that he would get a knockout, but he
Yeah.
hasn't really fought a wrestler aside from, I think, Volkov, who's kind of
Mhm.
like does everything really well, but he hasn't really fought a wrestler yet. So Francis just was like, "All right, I'm gonna make the playbook for Cyril Gane for all you wrestlers out there. Like, I'm
Yeah.
gonna show you how to do it. I'm gonna show you how to take you down, how to take him down." And the fact that he respected his hands so much, I think that was the key to the
Yeah.
takedowns working. Because if you're coming up against some like wrestler that doesn't really have hands like that, can't throw, can't back you up, then you're just gonna move out the way and try to hit him. You're not gonna run and then give up your lower body and then allow him to shoot in. So it was really, really smart for Francis to start doing this, because now, man, he is a scary, scary dude. He's
He is.
scary.
He is. Well, we know that Francis had the champ Kamaru Usman in his corner, and Kamaru is from Nigeria. Hakeem Dawodu. Hey,
Hey.
wait, lean over there. He is.
What's up, people?
Also represents the Nigerian flag, as well as the Canadian flag and the Jamaican flag. Welcome.
Nice.
What had happened was, Hakeem, how are you?
I'm good, man. How you doing? Appreciate you guys having me on the show.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
really
thanks for
great to meet you.
coming. Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, so what was your take on the main event?
Yeah, I gave Cyril Gahn the first 2 rounds, and then the last 3 rounds I gave to Francis. And I definitely think it was due to the wrestling. To be honest, I was
Mhm.
impressed by Francis Ngannou's wrestling. His takedowns. He actually looked quite technical. He didn't look like just straight power takedowns. He actually looked like he'd been working on his wrestling. Um,
Mhm.
and I think just like the only thing after that is he could work on his ground and pound. You know what I mean? There's a couple
Yeah.
positions that I saw him in that I thought he was going to start pounding them out. But yeah, I was really impressed with his wrestling. That kind of surprised me because unfortunately I picked Cyril Gahn for the win because
Uh-oh.
I know I kind of rode the hype train and
He's really good. It's not a hype train.
yeah, the technical thing, and I actually thought
Mhm.
he did better in the grappling, so I was a little bit backwards on that one. It kind of that was crazy. So congrats to the champ, but yeah, that was one of my picks. I picked wrong.
Hey, but you definitely know what you're looking at. You've had over 50 Muay Thai fights or kickboxing or what have you. And
Mm-hmm.
man, like it says one thing when like a grappler is like, oh, well, this guy throws heat and this guy is more technical. But for a technician like yourself to make the same assessment, it's not like it was a bad pick. It was just we didn't know, nobody knew that Francis was going to wrestle. Like,
Yeah,
even if he
yeah,
tried, we didn't think that he would be successful. And then he'd just go back to trying to knock him out.
yeah. But yeah, no, it was a great fight, and Cyril Gahn, he's so young. I think he's like one of those guys you're gonna hate the rematch because he's only gonna get better. So
Mhm.
that's definitely while Francis is champ, I definitely think he's gonna have to keep an eye on that guy because he's obviously just only gonna go up from here.
For
And
sure.
absolutely. So one thing that's interesting, Hakeem, we had Cyril on with us last week, and one thing that he talked about was his mindset going into fights. He talked about it was playtime, it was fun for him, and even though we can see in the octagon and we can see after the fact that obviously he's disappointed he didn't win, he
Mhm.
did have such a positive, sort of lighthearted approach to the fight. So, what do you think of when you're fighting? You're going to be fighting in 2 weeks. What do you think of when you walk in? Do you think of it as like, hey, if win or learn, if I want to just try to show this thing off this that I worked on in camp, and if it works, it works? Or are you the kind of guy that's like, if I don't win, I'm gonna effing kill myself? Because
Yeah,
I know that's how I am.
yeah, that's kind of like me. You know what I mean? I'm like, let's fight to the death. You know what I mean? I need to win this fight. You know what I mean? Losing fights, it's in the UFC. It's tough, man. Every your next fight's always the biggest fight of your life. So I take them quite serious. You know what I mean? And yeah, it's do or die out there. It's you want to get in that top 10. You want to get that title run going. So I take the fights quite serious, no matter who I'm fighting. And yeah, I got a lot of fights, so it's work. You know what I mean? It's definitely it's hard work, and you don't want to put in all this hard work just to go in there and lose. So it's live or die.
Is it still fun for you at all? Or do you just see this as your means to creating a legacy and your means to like, making a name for yourself?
You know what I mean? It's kind of weird. Like when I don't got a fight coming up, I love it. You know what I mean? I'm like, this is dope. You know what I mean? It's my lifestyle. I can't picture doing anything else. But like as soon as you got a fight coming up, it's yeah, I don't know, something switches. It's work time and it's a lot more serious. And don't get it twisted. Like I still have fun with it, but like as soon as that you get that date, it's a little bit different. It's not just training, having fun. It's fight time. It's I got a job I got to do.
Right. You go from
So
Hakeem to mean Hakeem.
Exactly.
to mean Hakeem.
Yeah,
Well, and
exactly.
so for those who don't know, because you've been in the UFC for a while, but for like, I do still feel like a lot of people don't know about you yet, right?
Mhm.
And we know that there's so much heat on the featherweight division right now. What would you say if you kind of had to like give an elevator pitch, to somebody about like, here's what kind of fighter I am, here's what I like to do, here's why you need to watch my fights? Like, what would you tell people?
I tell people, if you watch my fights, I'm obviously a striker. I'm a forward pressure type of dude. I'm a heavy hitter. pretty big size for the featherweight. You know what I mean? Got a decent KO ratio, and I'm excited, man. My last couple of fights, I've been dealing with nothing but wrestlers, but this is my first fight finally in UFC where I got myself a striker, and I definitely wouldn't miss this fight. And I would say if you're looking for high level striking from a former world champion in Muay Thai kickboxing, you definitely got to check out Mma Sparring from Canada.
I know, Angie. I know you love that.
Yes, I'm definitely tuning in for that for sure. I was so impressed. I think the first time I really just noticed you, I think it was a split decision win, but it was in Abu Dhabi, and you just
Angie, a
marched.
split decision, Angie. You've never heard of those.
Fucking split decision. That's another question I'm gonna ask you. But first,
By the way, hold on, time out. Hakeem, do you have any more light that you could throw on you?
Yeah, I do. Hold on.
Yeah. Sorry, I didn't want to be the one to say that you look a little dark, brother, but you look a little dark.
You're just trying to get Hakeem to flash you again,
Yeah. Is that a little bit better?
That is better.
Yeah.
Yes, that is better. That is better. Sorry to interrupt, Ange. I just wanted to make sure everybody could see you.
Yeah, no, I just love the way you marched that guy down. Like you marched him down, you're cussing at him, and you really showed that you're mean out there. Like I just love that. I guess your aura when you fight, I think it's really cool.
Yeah, that was one of those fights. He came in 5 pounds heavy. I think that was the underdog. It was all the hype because he is Khabib's boy, you know what I mean? Khabib is in the corner. And I got a lot of history with that camp anyways, because I fought Murat Magomedov in a different league before twice.
Okay.
So the Russians already don't like me. I always get matched up with Russians. So that, there's just history every time I go against that camp.
Yeah,
that was the Tukagov fight, right? So I'm looking at your stuff on Wiki, and so that was Zubaira Tukagov, and you got the split decision over in Abu Dhabi, and a catchweight fight. And before that, I mean, so that was 1, 2, 3. That was 5 in a row for you. So that made number 5. So that had to feel pretty good. But yeah, so going against a striker now on your next fight against Mike Trizano from The Ultimate Fighter, like, what do you think will be different? What do you think, do you think you'll just be able to show off more of who you are?
Yeah, I definitely think I'll be able to just really showcase who I am. You know what I mean? All my even my fight before that, I lost against Masvar, whatever his name was,
Movsariovayev.
Yeah. He was another wrestler that just wanted to be on my back and hold me down and not really do much damage, but just control me. And I don't want to get into too much. I was super injured for that fight, but that's another story we can talk about later. I had a herniated disc in my neck when I took that fight, but whatever.
And you don't want to go against a wrestler with a busted neck, dude.
Yeah, but I also didn't want to pull out. It was just one of those things. I just decided to do it anyways, but hopefully down the road we can rematch in a 5-round fight. But I think this fight I'll be able to showcase my skills. I haven't been able to showcase my full arsenal yet because I've just been dealing with nothing but these wrestlers. So you gotta sit down a little bit, work on the boxing, because these guys, a lot of them, they don't want to stand with me. So I'm hoping Mike Trizano is a real striker. We'll be able to put on a show for the fans, and I'll be able to showcase, all my skill. I was a world champion in Muay Thai, IFMA gold medalist, you know what I mean? So I do have a lot of experience. I am, one of the top strikers in the UFC. So I think this is really one of my fights to really shine and showcase my skill and abilities. But, again, we'll see what happens when he gets hit.
So I'm going to ask you another thing because, you've had a couple split decisions, a draw.
And just do you know the home addresses of those judges?
Yeah, exactly. I want to send them some things. But what is your key to finishing a fight? Because you have a ton of finishes on your record, Muay Thai, MMA. What do you think is maybe the magic formula that works for you? It could be like a mantra or just like a technique, or what do you think is the best way for you to finish a fight?
It's kind of weird. Like for me, the best time when I finish a fight is when I'm not trying to finish a fight. It's kind of, you know what I mean? Whenever I'm just, just doing my thing, letting my hands go and not even worrying about the power, that's when I usually get the finish. Like I wait for the knee, I wait for that little knee buckle, and then I'll start putting some juice on my shots. So I always feel like for me, when I get the most finishes is when I'm just relaxed and just letting my hands go. And then sometimes you'll have a fight where you'll kind of muscle things and you'll kind of go for the knockout, and it's not there because your timing's a little bit off and you're a little bit tense, and it just doesn't flow the same. So like I feel like with someone at the size of me at featherweight that hits as hard as me, I feel like all I got to do is just connect with my speed and not focus on my power, and just be relaxed and just really be me and just flow with the things.
I love that. I love that. And whenever if someone gets dropped in training, that's when I'm just having fun. Like
Yeah, nice.
Yeah,
that's usually what happens. Like you're just having fun, you're just feeling yourself, you're just in the moment pretty much and loose, not tensing up, not showing them what you're about to do before you do it, and that's when you accidentally drop someone. So,
accidentally drop someone.
yeah.
You be having a tough sparring match with somebody, and you're like, yo, I want to settle this guy down, so I'm gonna hit him in the body, and you kind of muster a body shot, and it's got something on it, but it's not enough to really stop him. And then every now and again, you'll just boom throw it in there real quick, and they have to take the knee. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Nice, nice. Well, for those who don't know, I want to give a little context because your kickboxing record, according to Wiki, and Wiki isn't always right, but your kickboxing record is 9 wins, 0 losses, and 7 of those 9 wins were knockouts. Your MMA record is you've got 12 wins and 2 losses, and you've got 7 knockouts there.
Yeah.
Your Muay Thai record, you've had 42 Muay Thai wins, which is
Damn.
amazing. And 15 of those were by knockout. So, I mean, listen, how young did you start? Like, why was Muay Thai the one that you were drawn to? Because we know Ange loves throwing the elbows and the knees too. Why was that the discipline that you were drawn to, as opposed to just being a straight boxer or any of the others?
I used to box actually back when I was 12 years old. Actually the first martial art I ever got into was Taekwondo when I was 6 years old.
Mm.
And I did Taekwondo for a little bit, quit that, got into soccer, and then when I was 12, I started boxing, and shortly after that, I started getting into a lot of trouble. You know what I mean?
I was going to say, was the boxing like to defend yourself against bullies, or to be more like, why did you get into it at 12? Because that's pretty young.
It was the weirdest thing. I used to live in this, this Calgary housing little project, and this old white guy came up to me, and this other little black kid. We both didn't have dads, and he came up to us, and it was super weird. He looked at me. He's like, "You know what? You look like you'd be a good boxer." And I didn't even know the dude. And this is like back in a bit earlier, back in the day where parents were a bit more let their kids go out with people. So
Right.
he went up to my mom. He's like, "Yo, I want to take your son to boxing." And she was like, I shouldn't even know him. I didn't even know him, but we lived in this complex, and he took me to this place called Impact Boxing, signed me up, and literally would drive me to boxing every day, me and my friend Jordan Boudreau. And then like a month later, he died.
Oh.
Yeah, it was just, super random and crazy, but like that was kind of like my intro into boxing. And then, I stopped boxing because I went to juvie for a long time.
Mm.
When I got out of juvie, I had this probation officer, and she didn't want me to keep breaching because I was on house surveillance for about 2 years. So all I was allowed to do was go to school and back home. And I was supposed to go to this kind of anger management thing, and I wasn't going. But she's like, I don't want to breach you and send you back to jail. So she sent me to this place called Mike Miles Muay Thai Kickboxing, and he was able to write my martial arts as anger management. And it was just one of those things where I was just a really good kicker. I had power. I had good stamina. I got fight within like my first 3 months of training. I was in Thailand fighting at the IFMAs within, a year of training. So it just like happened really, really fast, like as soon as I started, I didn't stop. So, and I just kind of fell in love with Muay Thai and kickboxing because I just felt like at the time it was such a complete martial arts. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
This was kind of before MMA really blew up, and I was a world champion, and I remember I only got paid like $5,000 to win my belt, WMC.
Mm.
I was like, damn. And I remember it was like Forrest Griffin and Stephen Bonner.
Steph, yeah.
And I was like, I remember watching that fight, and I remember, nowadays it doesn't seem like that much money, but I remember they each got paid like $50,000, $60,000.
Yeah.
And I was like, damn, like I feel like I got just as much as skill as these guys. He has to switch to MMA because I can't be fighting these crazy guys from Thailand and Belarus, Russia, and only getting paid $5,000. Like that doesn't even get me through a camp. You know what I mean? So
And that's a lot for Muay Thai too.
Yeah.
That's like the upper end.
I know, right?
Yeah, that's a world champion pay. So I was
Yeah.
like, I can't do this. You know what I mean? I didn't even have, this busted up car, and I'm trying to be a world champion Muay Thai fighter. And I remember like I was world champ at the time, and people would be like, "Damn, you world champ? You probably balling out. You probably got a night all this." And I'm like, little people know I was broke, barely even getting paid.
Sorry.
And so
Oh man.
that's when I finally decided to make the switch to MMA. You know what I mean? And that was one of the best decisions in my life. But at heart, how you got people like Khabib who are true wrestlers. I'm a true Muay Thai stylist. I still teach Muay Thai. I'd love to a couple kids from my gym get them to the Olympics now that Muay Thai finally got accepted into the Olympics. So
nice.
Oh, that'd be so cool.
yeah, it's still in my heart. You know what I mean? That's my base. That's like what I call like my go-to.
Nice. Do you think you would ever go back to Muay Thai if you had an option, or are you in love with MMA now?
I'm in love with MMA now because I guess I was always on the quest to be the ultimate martial artist. But now that MMA, you can't really say it's not the ultimate fighting. You know what I mean? It's you gotta be literally the best. I have the utmost respect for. I remember the first time my first MMA sparring was actually with the former UFC fighter Nick Ring. He fought at
I remember Nick off the Ultimate Fighter.
Yeah, the Ultimate Fighter. That was the first time I ever did any MMA, and I was like, yo, I'm gonna beat this guy. I'm like, yo, I'm gonna dust this guy. Like, you know what I mean? And I remember he took me down. And the takedowns messed up my striking. Then he was able to land punches on me because I was like worried about the takedowns, and it just like it opened my mind because I used to watch these guys and be like, man, these guys are whack. And then, and then when you get in there, you're like, damn, it's really like the ultimate fighting. Like just even the cardio systems from going from wrestling to striking, and I needed to up my strength and conditioning because I had to deal with these wrestlers because they be hella strong. So
yeah,
it definitely opened my eyes, and I was like, man, you got to be like a really well-rounded fighter to be in MMA. And I had to up my boxing because I didn't want to kick too much my early MMA fights. I didn't want to get taken down. So
right.
I was really worked on my boxing. So I have a lot of respect for MMA because it's the hardest sport in my eyes. You know what I mean? I box boxers. I still spar Muay Thai, professionals, but I feel like MMA is definitely the hardest sport out there right now when it comes to fighting.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I would agree with you on that. I do kind of want to back it up a little bit though and ask you about if you don't mind talking about it, and you don't have to if you don't want to, but how and why you ended up in juvie, right? Because if when people look at your bio, you have a Jamaican dad, right? I have a Jamaican mom, and you have a mom from Nigeria, right? And but you were raised in Canada, so. So I mean, it's a very interesting background, and it's an interesting mix. And I'm just kind of curious, though, like, the show is called What Happened Was. So
what
Hakeem,
happened?
what happened?
What happened? What'd you do?
How'd you end up in juvie?
Did you beat someone up?
Yeah, no problem. So my dad came here from Jamaica. He was actually a 100-meter sprinter. He used to run with Donovan Bailey. Me and Donovan Bailey actually still talk to this day, and he'd say my dad used to beat him in the 40, and he could only beat my dad after the 40. My dad was supposedly the fastest guy up to 40, and then after that, you'd have to catch him. So my dad was a sprinter for a long time. He had a lot of promise. He could have maybe gotten the Olympics, but he got deported when I was 6 years old. So it was just me raised by my mom. My mom had me when she was 14 years old. So she was,
my gosh.
she was pretty young.
Oh my goodness, that's so young.
yeah, when she had me, you know, my grandma at the time, she was really religious, Pentecostal. So she kicked
Mhm.
my mom out when she was 14 years old. So my mom was 14 years old with me, you know, trying to raise a black son on her own, being a black woman.
Oh,
You know, we have a very African last name. It was hard for her to get jobs.
Mhm.
poor
And,
thing.
you know, we couldn't afford a babysitter like that. So I spent a lot of
Mm.
time on my own. And, you know, we didn't have the most money. So when I was 12 years old, I just got sick of being broke and I hit the streets and, you know, just started doing some things I shouldn't have done.
Mm.
Mhm.
Trying to make my own money and, you know, landed myself in juvie. I think I was 13 the first time I went.
Mm.
You know, I got kicked out of my house by the age of 13, 14. So I was out on my own, just, you know, doing the most, to be honest.
Yeah.
And if it wasn't for that last juvie stint, we did an armed home invasion, and yeah, you know,
Whoa.
I did some time, and luckily it was before I was 18. And
Mm.
you know, when I
Because
got
you would have
out,
been put away for a really long time.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be in the States, that's for sure. I got a lot of friends that can't get into the States because of that. You know what I mean?
Wow.
You gotta wait
Yeah.
at least 7 years to get a pardon, and if
Mm.
there's, you know, weapons involved, you might not get that pardon. You know what I mean? It's hard to get into the States. You know what I mean?
Wow.
So yeah, luckily is before I was 18. And you know, when I got out, Muay Thai kind of just saved my life, as well as my
Mhm.
trainer. He
Mhm.
you know, I wouldn't say, I guess you could say he was almost kind of like that father figure I never had, because he was, you know, taught me discipline and just taught me how to be on schedule and how to, you know,
Mhm.
stick to something. So, you know, when I got out of juvie, I was just, you know, so excited to be a part of something, and, you know, just excited for people to be proud of me, and, you know, being able to do something that, you know, kept me out of trouble. And you know, if it wasn't for that, I probably wouldn't be in the UFC to this day. So that was kind of just like how I got into
Wow.
it, you know what I mean?
Wow. That's
But like,
amazing.
but sports was always in my family. Like my grandpa was a bodybuilder. He was a big time bodybuilder,
Ah.
like kind of Mr. Jamaica kind of thing. My
Nice.
Ah,
dad
nice.
was a sprinter.
What was their What's their last name? Because Dawodu would be your mom's last name, then probably, right?
Yeah. My dad's last name is Hall.
I was
Okay.
gonna say if you said Walker, I'd been like, "What up, cuz?"
No,
Because yeah, I think I was telling you beforehand. I'm half Jamaican.
yeah,
My family name is Walkers and Lindos. So what was yours again?
Hall.
Hall. Okay, so like Uriah Hall, you might be related to Uriah.
Maybe,
Hey,
yeah,
maybe.
maybe we're related. You know what I mean? But yeah, my dad's last name is Hall. They all got very like old school English names. Like my dad's name is Radcliffe. My
Yeah.
grand,
Oh,
Oh,
I have
wow.
cousins named Sutcliffe, so
yeah,
I'm right there with you.
yeah. My grandpa's name was Grandsville. You know,
Wow.
Yeah.
yeah,
Oh
that's
yeah, no, it's a bunch of old school names and like
yeah,
very British and
yeah,
all
I
very
that. I
love
mean,
that.
yeah.
it's incredible, and with such a an interesting story of how hard times and how you turned it around. I got to ask, like, have you ever talked to Cub Swanson, another UFC featherweight, about this? Because Cub was in a similar way where he was young, in trouble, in
Mm.
juvie, and realized when he was in juvie, he's like, you know what, I gotta get out of here. Like
Yeah.
he realized, and he's done a lot to help other kids in trouble. Like you and Cub, if you don't know each other, you should know each other.
Yeah, definitely. I know of Cub. Like, how could you not know of Cub
Of
Swanson?
course.
Yeah.
But you should get to know him because you guys would have a lot to talk
Yeah,
about.
I actually didn't know that about Cub. You know what I mean? I didn't actually know that. That's my first time hearing of that. So yeah, I definitely love to link up with Cub Swanson, maybe, and, you know, just talk and get his story. But on
Mhm.
my end of things, because of my unique story, like in the city, they've done a lot of cool things. You know, TSN did that documentary about me that aired
Mm.
before my fight with
So cool.
Zabara. The city just did a mini like short film on me, indies movie on me
Mm.
called Mma Sparring. It placed like second place for the films festival. I was mad. I thought we were gonna get first.
Ah,
Um,
that's awesome.
yeah,
Yeah.
before
What's the name
COVID,
of it again? The
I
movie?
send you the link. It's just called I gotta send you the link. It's just called Mina Keen, but it's not released yet. You
Okay.
know?
Okay.
Oh, okay.
It's not
Okay.
released yet, but I got the link.
Okay. We'll look out for
Yeah, exactly.
it.
It's only about 7 minutes long. It's quite cool. You
Nice.
know, they got two kids. One kid playing me when I was 6. One kid playing me when I was 16, and it's just kind of shows what kind of I've been through. And before COVID, I used to go to more of the ethnic schools and
Mm,
talk to some of the kids and just tell them my story and try to just give a motivational speech. And for Black History Month, I'd always be doing that. I'd always I used to go help some of the native kids around town, go to their gym
mm,
and just give
Mhm.
free lessons. And I was doing a lot of that. COVID kind of made me have to take a step back. I haven't been able to go to
mm.
the schools lately
Yeah.
because of this whole thing, but I do try to give back and talk to these kids that are in the same situation that I was in, because when I was younger, they'd always bring people in, but it was always just like football players. That was it. You'd always just see the football players talking to you. So
Mm.
they wanted to bring someone like me in that has a real past, and someone that's not a football or a basketball player, doing MMA.
That's amazing. That's
Nice.
amazing.
That is
And
awesome.
I love that someone actually knew that this was the answer for you. Like this
Yeah.
is going to be the cure to your temper, like to the anger management is going to Muay Thai, because a lot of people would think that that would do the opposite. A lot of people would assume that you're already, doing things that can be considered violent, and then you're going to go and learn how to be more violent. Like a lot of people
More
would shy away
precise.
from that. Yeah, I'm going to learn how to not need weapons, like
Totally.
to kick your ass.
Yeah,
But it's is like, I think that's the thing with martial arts, is people don't realize it until you're in it. Like, yes, this thing, it gives you discipline, it gives you purpose, it gives you a reason to wake up in the morning. And
yeah.
I'm so happy that someone was able to guide you to that, because we might not be able to talk to you right now if that didn't happen.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. I've kind of heard that my whole life. Like, besides, getting in trouble, I used to be really known for just street fighting.
Mm.
That's how I grew up. Like, even I used to go to Jamaica every year to visit my family. And, they'd always try to call me soft because I was Canadian and I was foreign. And,
Oh.
I just always be street fighting. And
Yeah.
I
Like,
never,
oh yeah.
they'd be like, Ross, man, the foreign boy, tough. And they'd so
Him
surprised.
tough, you know.
They just be
Yeah.
surprised that I could fight, and all my friends would be like, "Man, you should fight. Like you're like this small guy beating up all these big guys in the street. Like you got a talent, you got a natural physique." And you know, it wasn't until I got into Muay Thai kickboxing that I stopped street fighting. I haven't been in a street
Mm.
fight since I was 16, 17 years old. But
Nice.
I feel like there was always like a sign that maybe I got something when it comes to combative sports.
That's
Nice. That's
awesome.
it.
I mean,
I mean, I'm happy they already made a short film about you, but they need to do the feature. Like, they need to do a feature of the whole journey, because that is
Yeah,
it really is an inspiring story. It really is amazing.
I
and
was
is
yeah, I was a bit shy to kind of share the full details because I didn't want people to judge me, and especially being a black male, people already got perception. They see a
Mhm.
black guy with the gold chains and the grills and the tattoos, they're already thinking something. So I was a little bit
Mm.
shy at first, but my management's like, look, man, tell your story. People aren't going to judge you. It's actually quite
Mm-mm.
motivating, and
Yep.
now that I'm been in the UFC, I'm getting more comfortable with the media. I don't mind sharing.
Nice.
Well, I was gonna say exactly that. A, you're not the first person and only person with a record
Yeah.
because
Mhm.
it's happened. And
Oh,
B,
no record. That was Juvie.
or not a record, but yeah, but like I
with
said,
a
just
with a story.
Yeah.
but just talking, yeah, talking to Cub about it. But like, to be honest, when we are able to on the broadcast and just here in wherever in life, like any story of overcoming adversity, of turning your life around, of making good from a bad situation, like that's always going to resonate. People are
Mhm.
always going to want to hear that kind of thing. And for us on the broadcast side of it, if I'm ever able to frame a story in the broad strokes of MMA or martial arts saved my life, that's a win. you know, and because you know, you learn so much about, you know, techniques or whatever, but you learn so much about yourself through martial arts. So was there one thing that you learned, you know, these messages, and maybe it's something that, you know, your frustrations that were bringing it out when you were younger, but that you were able to channel in the fight? Like, has there been a galvanizing thing that you've learned about yourself through the course of doing martial arts?
Yeah, definitely. I've definitely learned that I'm mentally tough. I've learned I'm a little bit nutty in the head because, you know, but no,
All of you fighters are, I hate to
You
tell you.
kind of have to be.
You kind of gotta be.
I've definitely learned that I'm tough. I definitely learned that martial arts definitely kept me, you know, just on a schedule and kept me disciplined. And you know, as I got older and I started, you know, getting farther and farther into, you know, martial arts, because like when I was younger, I used to be part of a little gang, and I have a lot of friends that aren't here today, you know, due to getting shot or due to overdosing on that new drug, fentanyl. I got a whole bunch of tattoos of
Really?
all my friends that have either died or overdosed, and you know, just
So
going
sad.
through that, seeing like, oh, my best friend died right before my last fight, and
Oh my God.
you know what I
I'm so
mean? And,
sorry.
yeah,
I'm
and
sorry.
just going through that, you definitely look back, and I'm just like, damn, I'm really lucky that I found something that kept me on a straight path. Because, you know, when I was young, I used to be addicted to drugs as well. Luckily, juvie got me clean because, you know, no one's really hooping in juvie. It's not really a thing like that. So, you know, as I get older, I'm very thankful that I was able to, you know, get on the right path really early, because I got friends to this day that are, you know, same age as me. They're not here. I got friends that are still alive that are addicted to crazy stuff, and they're just, you know, it's only a matter of time before they're next. So I'm just really grateful that you know, I'm still here, and I got a clear path, and I got a future, and I'm doing something that I love. And, you know, anytime I'm given an opportunity to kind of give back and help, I'll always take that opportunity, because I've been on the other side of the fence. You know, people like, oh, I don't know how you get down like that, but it just, you know, when you're born in certain situations or raised a certain way or don't have the same opportunities, you know, it's really easy to go down that path. So I don't judge nobody, and I just have respect for everybody, and I know how hard life can be. So I just, you know, try to stay humble, and just, you know, even though they call me Mma Hakeem, try to be the nicest person I can and just kind of help out, you know.
That's awesome. I did want to ask you,
love that.
who coined your nickname, Mean
Oh,
Hickey? Because you do seem really nice. So,
I know.
like, I love that you're giving back to your community.
But
A
if you
lot of
want to
people
give
are
a mean
like,
face,
I know,
yeah.
right?
It
Like, a
was
lot of
actually
people, like, they get
yeah.
out and then they're just like, all right, I'm
Mhm.
out. Like, you know, fuck y'all, bye, you know. But the fact that you're giving back and trying to give people that same joy that you have, I think that's really special. But yeah, how'd you get the nickname Mean Hakeem?
It happened in my amateur career. I remember my first, I think it was my first 5-7 fights in Muay Thai. I didn't knock anybody out. And I remember my coach, you know, he used to do this thing, Mike Miles, he after every fight, he'd have a summary of the fight. He kind of write an article on it. And I remember one time I read, you know, Hakeem's a very good athletic fighter, but he lacks killer instinct. And I remember I didn't sleep that whole night. I was so pissed off. I was like, man, who the fuck is this guy saying I don't got killer instinct? I was really mad about it. So my next, I think, 8-9 fights or whatever, I knocked everybody out either in the
Oh,
first or second round. And on that knockout spree, I came into the gym one day, because like the way I was raised, like in fighting, you had your nickname was earned. Like you couldn't decide what your nickname is.
yeah.
Your trainer gave it to. And I came into the gym one day and he was like, "How's Mean Akeem?" I was like, that's pretty dope, because I remember before I was like, you call me Hulk Hakeem. And my buddy's like, that's mad corny. Like, that's like the corniest thing I've ever heard. So
It
my
doesn't
coach
flow either,
didn't
really.
flow. So my
Prince
coach,
Hakeem. Someone said that in the
Yes,
chat.
Prince
Prince
Hakeem, right?
Hakeem.
Yeah.
yeah,
That
Prince
might.
Hakeem, and of course, you know, Hakeem the Dream from
Hakeem the Dream, exactly.
yeah, I heard that. But my coach came in, he's like, what about Mean Hakeem? You know, that was a good knockout spree, and it just stuck, and I liked it. And eventually I got it tatted on me, because I feel like Hakeem's the one who kind of saved my life.
Nice.
Nice.
Okay,
That's
so as we
awesome.
approach this fight with Mike Mike Trizano, what's the approach to him? What are you thinking about that fight? What's your strategy?
I think he's a tough guy. He looks like a pressure fighter. He's a little bit taller than me, 5'11", and I'm just very excited to finally fight another striker. It's going to be nice. He doesn't look like he's going to run. It looks like we're going to be right in the center of the octagon, and we're going to be banging it out. And those are the type of fights I'm used to. Those small Bangkok, Thailand ring fights, trade in the middle, no backing up. So we'll see who's the real warrior. We'll see who takes the first step back. And yeah, I'm just really excited to finally just have a striking match and just showcase the world, get my stock up, get my name up, and really let the fans know who and what type of fighter I am. And yeah, man. But as you know, right now, training and just making weight. That's the most important thing, especially when you're my size on the featherweight. You got to be very careful with your nutrition and make sure you stay on top of that.
Okay. What do you usually walk around at, if you don't mind me asking?
I'm coming from 180 before, so
What?
Yeah,
Oh my god!
Are you serious, dude?
Oh my god!
Yes, I'm obviously not 180 right now,
right.
But yeah, I don't know. I get a little bit thick. I like my dumplings.
I guess.
Yeah, that's happy.
Do you like to eat? What's the deal? Yeah, are you an eater? Like what's like?
Oh, I'm a big eater. Like I don't really get fat, but my muscles swell up. I get kind of thick. And I love traditional food. Curry goat, oxtail.
So good.
You know what I mean? Jerk chicken.
Yes.
The other side of my family is Nigerian, so
yeah,
everything is really, really saucy. A lot of yams, a lot of dumplings, a lot of rice. So it's easy to kind of get thick. And yeah, I love my food. I love food. I can't deny it. I love food, and sometimes I got a little bit of a sweet tooth.
See, I can tell you love food because you're over here cheesing from ear to ear, thinking about all the foods you're gonna eat in 2 weeks.
It's so true.
Yeah, I didn't find too many Jamaican restaurants in Vegas last time I was there.
Yeah, I don't know if I've ever looked because I live in LA and there's so many here that I know where to go. But you're right. In Vegas, I don't know that I've ever actually looked for it.
I've been to one and that's it. And it was all right. But there wasn't too many. I'm not gonna lie about it.
Yeah, no, there's several here in LA. If you're ever in LA, you hit me up and I'll take you over to Juicy's because Juicy's is good. But then there's also Derek's and then there's the other one. But like, it's funny because I don't eat meat anymore, but I know what you're talking about. Like curry goat is delicious. It is delicious. And like
there's a lot
patties.
of like vegetarian options too, right?
Vegetarian options.
Yeah, for sure. So you said you go to Jamaica a lot though, regularly?
I got a brother there. My dad lives there. You know what I mean? My relatives live there, so I got a heavy presence. I'm actually I'm gonna be bringing my brother up from Jamaica after this fight. He's never left the island before.
Never left. Oh my gosh!
Never left the island before. His name's Tyler. He's only about 22. So shout out to my brother. I promised I'd bring him up. Bring him up to Canada. Let him, see different side of the world. You know what I mean?
That's
so. Who are your main training partners up there in Canada and stuff? Who are your main guys?
Right now I'm training at a Mike Miles Muay Thai kickboxing, so that's my where I do my Muay Thai kickboxing. My MMA coach is at Champions Creed, so my head coach would be Brian Bird. Another former one of my teammates just got signed to the UFC. He's making his debut, Chad and Hallinger, the monster from the Contender Series. I think it's later this month. I don't know if it's the 25th or the 19th, something like that.
Okay.
Big fight coming up. My boxing coach at Teal Fista Boxing, Eric de Guzman, that's my boxing coach. And strength and conditioning coach Nick Geese. I've been with him for years. And those are my people. And those gyms I go to, they've been holding me down and they've been giving me a lot of success. And then, after this fight, I'm most likely gonna go down in the States. I don't know if I'm gonna go to Colorado or if I'm going to go down to Florida and train with Henry Hoof. But I definitely want to get some new looks after this fight.
Nice. If you go to
Nice.
Colorado, would you hook up with Kamaru? Do you know Kamaru?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
exactly.
That was the plan. You know, I
Cool.
wanted to go earlier, but I was so nervous about the vax. You know what I mean? I took a while to get vaxxed. I literally waited till you had to get vaxxed, and the only reason why I did that, I kind of got a little bit shook because one of my best friends, his name's Ahmed. I call him Baldhead because he's bald, and his cousin got the vax and died. Oh, you know what I mean?
Oh.
It kind of, I was like, damn, like I was like, man, maybe these conspiracy theories are real. Like I just didn't know, right? I was just a little bit shook about it, you know what I mean? But eventually I got vaxxed, and you know now I'm fully vaxxed, so I'm able to travel. But
Cool.
I was definitely holding out for a minute because I was, the way I grew up, we never really believed in vax. You know what I mean? Like I just thought, you know, your hepatitis and
Yeah.
you know, yeah, like just the most basic mandatory.
Polio and stuff like that.
You got in school and
Scabies.
whatnot. But like, yeah, so I never really, I was always kind of raised really natural. Like if you never got flu shots or nothing like that, just because
Yeah.
we always just believed in, you know, just immune system. So I kind of held out for the vax for a long time till literally they made it impossible where you can't, if you're not vaxxed,
Yeah. You can't.
Yeah.
you can't live life. So, you know, I finally got vaxxed and, you know, I feel fine. My heart's fine. So
Good, good. Yeah, I think every fighter was a little nervous about it, especially you know, like when you get a flu shot, you get sick immediately. So people are like, I don't want to be in the middle of camp and get vaccinated and it ruins my fight camp or whatever. You know, I'll just take my chances on the grappling mats with COVID. Like
But you're
it's
totally
pretty
gonna get it, though.
crazy.
That's the whole
Yeah,
thing. It's
yeah.
like
It's
you're
just
totally gonna
like,
get it.
yeah, we're all gonna get it. So
I
we all
got it
had to get
twice. I
vaxxed.
got it twice. The
Oh
first,
yeah.
yeah, the first time I got it, it was really bad. Like I couldn't eat. I hated the taste of meat. It was so weird.
Oh.
The only thing I could eat was fruit. That was the only thing I
Huh.
could eat, and everything smelled like burnt rubber. It was the weirdest thing.
That's so
Yeah,
strange.
That is weird.
and then I got over that. That lasted like I think a week and a half, and then I got it again about 4 weeks ago, but
Oh.
it was super light. Like I was only a little bit sick, like very like I had a light little cough, little
Yeah.
bit of the stuffy nose, and it only lasted about 3 days, and that was
Oh,
it.
that's good.
Well, that's good. You got it out the way. Now you can kick some ass, right?
So yeah,
Like,
yeah,
yeah.
exactly. So other than that, yeah, I've been really blessed. You know, this fight camp. You know, my last fight, it was crazy. I took the fight with a herniated disc in my C7. I didn't even know my neck was herniated, but I should have known. My right arm got all weak. It got smaller.
Oh no.
Yeah, yeah. And then I went to the UFC PI, and they're telling me to get surgery. You know, and
Dang.
I was like, hold up, let me just see, because I read online you can heal your own herniation. You have a 60% chance of healing your own herniated disc, and it can go
Huh.
down on its own. So I was like, before I get, you know, the same surgery that Aljamain Sterling got, let me just see if I can heal this on my own. I came
Yeah.
back to Canada. I got on my physio. I got on my neck strengthening exercises. I got another MRI. My herniation went away. The strength of my arm came back, and this whole camp, I didn't have one neck problem. I felt good.
Nice.
Cool.
I feel strong. I'm back to lifting the way I was lifting, and
Nice.
yeah, I'm at 100%. So I'm glad that I just, you know, took a second before I
Right
just
before you
wanted
got
to,
cut
yeah,
open.
yeah, cut open.
Nice.
Don't
Dude,
get me,
this
yeah, like I just wanted let me just see if I can, you know,
mm-hmm.
get physio first before you put something foreign in my neck, because I
Yeah.
was watching Aljamain Sterling, and that had him out for a minute,
Oof,
but he's still not 100%, just because,
I
you know,
know.
it's a long recovery road, and
Mm-hmm.
it is invasive. Is even though they say they're really good at it, it's still, it's, you know, it's a crazy thing putting something in your neck like that. So
Yeah.
yeah, I'm glad I was able to just, you know, naturally rehab it and
Yeah,
breaking
good
my
for
neck
you.
myself, and yeah, I'm feeling 100%. So it was nice to have a camp with no injury. The only thing that
Mm-hmm.
happened to me is I had that little mini COVID thing, and that
Yeah.
only lasted about 3-4
Helped
days.
you cut weight.
There
It
you
did
go.
help me cut weight. It was crazy because when I get sick like that, I don't really like to eat. It's weird.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I don't have no appetite. So yeah, it did help me cut some weight.
Everything's working
Yeah,
for you this camp. I'm happy about it. And
It
it
is
always feels
good.
good to like to rehab yourself, instead of having to get someone to do something to you, cut you open or whatever. It always feels good if you're able to just stretch more and do certain exercises and get back to feeling 100%. Like, yeah, that's
Yeah, it was
good job.
definitely
Good
a
job.
different feel coming back to Canada. Like when I was in the States, it was like surgery, surgery, surgery. Like everybody's like, yo, get the surgery. And then
Yeah.
I got back to Canada, they're like, whoa, hold on. Well, if you're not in any pain and your arm's getting stronger again, let's see if you can fix this yourself. It was definitely a different.
Well, in America, Hakeem, the doctors make a bunch of money from surgery.
That
In
Canadian
Canada.
healthcare,
Yeah,
man.
and that's kind of how I felt because I was like, they're like, yeah, you got to get surgery like yesterday. I was like, oh,
Yeah.
what? Like, I was like, you serious? They're like, yeah, man, like you got to get this surgery. You're gonna
do
be
this.
quadriplegic, and I'm like tripping. You know what I mean? I don't even know what to do. My girlfriend's like crying, like, what? You're gonna be a quadriplegic? Like,
What?
you know what I mean? It was really
Who
intense.
said so extreme? Like,
No, they were literally being that extreme, and then I'm like, oh shit, like, damn, like what's going on here? And then when I got back to Canada, it was just such a different feel. And by the time I got back and got my MRI, I'd already shrunk. So I was just like, man, like, that's crazy that I could have had this surgery done when I could have just and not even healed it myself. So it was I'm definitely glad I just took a second to, just breathe and try the natural way first.
Good job. Good on you.
Well, so listen. Well, go ahead, Auntie. I was going to say we can.
I was just
Did you have
gonna
a
say
question?
VT has a new nickname for you, Hakeem the Holistic Warrior.
There you go.
Holistic Warrior,
Yeah.
That's right. And people are just saying how tough you are, giving you a lot of respect here and everything. Yeah. So it's really cool. It's really cool. And
with the love, I definitely appreciate the love, and thanks for having me on the show before the fight. It's my first co-main event.
Yeah, big
I'm excited. I'm working that show, and so I'm excited to be able to help tell your story now even better. I mean, because obviously we tell the fight story, and the analysts will tell the fight story, but I love having all this extra information about you, about your come up and everything, because that's really what humanizes you to the viewers. And when we can tell those kind of stories, it really gives people something to root for and something to be invested in when they're watching you fight. And like the fighting style was already cool enough, and to have this whole backstory where you're overcoming, so much hardship in your life is just a really positive thing. So I feel like there's going to be a lot of goodwill for you.
Yeah.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Yes, it feels like it's only on the up and up from now on. So, I'm looking forward to the future. I'm looking forward to this fight and performing and just showing the people what I'm really all about.
Cool. Awesome, Hakeem.
Nice.
Well, so, hey, before you bounce, do you want to tell everybody where they can find you and follow you?
Yeah, you can find me on Instagram at Mma Hakeem. You can find me on Twitter at Mma Hakeem KO. You can find me on Facebook, Mma Hakeem. It's very easy to find me. You know what I mean? You just got to type in Mma Hakeem or hit up my management, Paradigm Sports.
Nice.
Tim, everybody knows Tim. So, it's very easy to find me. And, make sure you tune in February 5th with me and my fight against Mike Trizano. And, we're going for that KO.
Nice. I can't wait.
Yeah,
cannot
best
wait
of
for
luck
that
to you.
fight.
And I'm glad it's not a wrestler too.
I am too. I hate fighting wrestlers, man. They don't even want to fight. It's so annoying.
I fought two Russians back to back. You know what I mean? Two Russians back to back. But honestly, I would love to run it back with Mozart. When I don't have a herniated disc on my neck. I'm not taking anything away from him, but that was one of those fights where I was literally bed rested for 2 months. Damn. And in the last 3-4 weeks I tried to fit in a camp, and not taking nothing away from him. He's a good little backpack. He was on my back. But I'd love to run that back after this fight in a 5-round fight, because I had him doing the Harlem Shake in the last round when I hit him with the left hook.
Yes.
You know what I mean? I run that back in a 5-round fight, because I definitely felt him fade him, and I'd love to just be healthy and run that back, because I was on a 5-fight winning spree. So that kind of frees me a little bit, set me back a little bit, but it's all good. Everything happens for a reason. And we always prevail to go right through. And here's my time.
That's
Cool,
awesome.
cool,
That's awesome.
awesome. Well, I love your mindset, and yeah, really looking forward to you having a great fight. So I guess this is just got a few more days of some real training, and then you're going to taper off, and yeah, we'll see you in Vegas in a couple weeks.
Yeah,
Yeah,
thank
see
you,
you
man.
there.
Appreciate it. Much love to everybody, man. Thank you.
All
Thanks
right,
for
Hakeem, thanks so
coming.
much for joining us. Yeah,
Have
we'll
a
see you
great
soon.
fight week. Take
Have a good
care.
day, guys.
You
All
too.
Bye. Oh, what a good
Oh my
dude.
goodness.
That's
What
my
a
first time meeting
backstory.
him. I mean, what a
Jeez.
backstory.
Oh
Holy
my
cannoli.
God.
I had no
Yeah.
idea. I just didn't know. Like, I think there's some of that, when you're prepping for work, we read a lot of stuff, and I'm sure some of that stuff probably came up on my radar, you know what I mean, on
Mhm.
another fight, but not to the degree that he explained here. And my
Yeah.
goodness, my
Well, there was a
goodness.
lot of holes. Like, whenever I read an interview, I could see that, yeah, he was a little less interested in giving details because you
Mhm.
never know how people are going to take that in. You don't know how people are going to react to you.
Right, of
But now
course.
that he's in the UFC, he's in the UFC to stay. Like
Yeah, he's
he
really
has
good.
knockouts, he has nasty Muay Thai style, like, and it is a pure Muay Thai style. Like, he
Yeah.
stands in front of the person, he marches them down, he kicks the hell out of their legs, like, and he throws
Yeah.
hands like really, really nicely too. So it's really cool to hear him start to get comfortable and say, hey, I'm here to stay, so I can actually start
Yes.
telling people what I went through and how I got here, because it's going to inspire people. It really is. And man, that is insane.
It's
Wow.
insane. I really hope, and I'll mention it to Cub. I mean, I'll send Cub a message and just be
Yeah.
like, bro, you should know Hakeem, because I think Cub still does a lot of outreach to troubled youth, and sounds like Hakeem would be a perfect guy to take with him. And yeah, I
Yes.
agree with you. Like, I mean, because even still, like, I even remember the first press conference with Derek Lewis, the Black Beast. And he's also somebody who had some, has a little bit of a checkered past and had to do some time, and was able to turn it around. And I understand. I can only obviously understand, because I haven't been there, but I can understand why you don't want to come forward with that, because of the prejudices that people have and everything. But once you are able to, like you said, get a little foothold in the business and succeed, I think it's really great when people come forward with that, because you can show people there's a way out and there's another route. I think that's really inspiring.
And it's so much different than someone coming in with a controversial past, like someone like Greg Hardy. He's coming in with like these really controversial things, and people just don't like him, because of that. But when you're saying that you've gone and you've lived this life, and your fighting brought you out of this life, being dedicated to the sport took you out of this life where you might not still be alive this day, like you could be dead. Like, just him talking about his friends, like, it's so heartbreaking.
It is.
The ODs and the deaths, like, it's so crazy, and I'm so happy for him for getting out of that, and for inspiring other kids, giving back to the community, and trying to bring these kids out with him, like that's really amazing. That's a really, man, I like this kid, man.
This is what I'm saying.
Yeah, every
I
time
will
we
say,
bring someone on, I'm just like, yo. Oh
So
my
for
God.
people who don't know, yeah, last week we had Cyril Gana, but we've had Adrian Yanez on, we had Chris Barnett on with us and stuff. And so what we're trying to do, obviously Cyril, gets a lot of attention, but a lot of the time because Angie and I are like curious about a lot of these dudes too. And so we want to kind of maybe talk to some folks that don't get as much attention and whose stories maybe you don't know. So if you guys have suggestions on who you'd like us to talk to, let us know, because I totally agree. And also the thing, my major takeaway from that is that his mom was a year younger than my daughter when she had him. And
I saw that.
Dude,
I saw that in your eyes. When he said 14, I looked at you, and I saw the expression in your face. You're just like not
I
my
can't.
baby. Not my baby.
Not
my baby can't have a baby.
My baby can't have a baby. Like, my baby can't have a baby. Like, my baby can't have a baby. Like that, I literally, it was like the needle, like the record scratch, the
Oh my
whole, like the car
God.
just drove off the road. Like my whole brain was
Dude,
like, what did you just tell me?
that is
I
insane.
cannot, I cannot imagine what his mom went through.
Oh my
So,
God.
I mean, my God,
Like
just
when I was 14,
wow.
I was such a
Wow.
fucking dork. Like I can't even imagine having a child to take care of. You know,
I
like
never had a threat of that because I had absolutely no attention from boys. So there was no threat of KB
no
getting pregnant at 14.
way. No
But no, oh
way.
God, no, I didn't.
Were you
But like
dork
to
too?
me, yeah, totally, totally. And totally.
Oh,
And
dork power.
yeah, hey, but look at us now.
Hey.
Still dorks.
Still
But
dorks. But at least guys want to have sex with us.
I think I don't even know
Yeah.
anymore. They want to hit
Yeah.
you. Okay. So anyway, but just to wrap that up, I'm so glad that Hakeem joined us. And like, what a cool, like, what an interesting guy. And he is a really fun fighter to watch. And if you guys
Yes.
haven't really watched him before, I hope you do now. And especially since he is going against a striker, I feel like the
Yes.
fight with Mike Trizano will show a lot more of like who he is. And like he said, he was on a 5-fight win streak before the fight with Evloev. So, you know, the dude's got skills.
Yeah, and if you guys check out his World Series of Fighting fights, those are the ones that really, I feel like those showcase what he wants to do, what he wants to be known as in the UFC. So he's finally going to get a striker to really just open up, and it's hard. It's hard as a striker wanting to throw someone really hard, knowing all they're waiting for is that hard punch, so you overbalance yourself and then they can sneak underneath you and grab your legs. Like it's so frustrating. So a lot of times it's almost like fighting on ice, you know, like
Yeah, because I
anytime.
wanted you to explain that more because we hear about that a
Yeah,
lot, right? Where the strikers are like, well, I couldn't do this because I was going to maybe get taken down, and I couldn't throw this because I was
yeah.
maybe going to get taken down. So, like, how much
Hmm.
does a wrestler, I don't want to say neutralize, but like really mess with your offensive game plan?
And I think a lot of it is more of a mind fuck than anything.
Mhm.
Because the focus should be on being able to get up. So if you know that you can get back up, then you could throw whatever you want, because that takedown isn't going to mean anything if you were kicking him in the head a bunch of times before the takedown happened, unless you're me and you have Douglas Crosby as a judge. But
Dear Doug Crosby.
Dear, I hate your stinking guts. But that's what the focus is. But when you get
Yeah.
taken down, it's such a mind fuck, because you're just like, man, I did all this work. Now I'm on my back and we still have half a round, and now I have to get up. And then once I get up, if I do get up, I might be too tired to throw more. And then if you get up and you throw again and you get taken down again, you're just like, man, this sucks. So it's hard to open up. And that's why Hakeem was saying that he focused more on his boxing. If you throw kicks, you're literally like, if anyone knows what a single leg takedown is, you're literally giving a wrestler your
You are.
single leg, you know? So like,
Right.
if you're throwing a kick and it doesn't hurt them enough and they're able to catch it, then even if you land the kick and it hurts, they can catch it and take you down, and then they scored the points and your kick points don't matter. Like, you're just hoping that it really fucked them up so you can get up fast, because they don't have energy to hold you because their ribs are
Right.
throbbing. But yeah, it doesn't feel worth it, you know? So when you're fighting a striker, someone who does want to stand and bang, you feel more comfortable throwing those head
Mhm.
kicks, throwing body kicks, even, because body kicks are the main ones that can get caught, throwing leg kicks, even though, you know, as soon as you pick one foot up, they're just going to try to bulldoze you and charge
Mhm.
in. So there's a lot of stuff that you are afraid to do. Spinning attacks too. If you throw a spinning elbow, it's scary because you're giving them your back.
There,
You're
I was
giving
just
them
gonna
the
say they
body
just
lock.
come right in here. Yeah, right.
Exactly. There's a lot of stuff that's a little scary to throw. Even knees. You know, for some people, knees are their answer to takedowns.
Mhm.
But if you don't time it properly, you're once again giving them your leg so you can just scoop it up. Ooh, I got need, but that's okay because I got your leg, and you just boop, take him down. So it's really, I mean, this is why Francis Ngannou is a genius. Because
I was just gonna say, and it's also why they say that wrestling is the one you should really start with. Like if you're gonna start with wrestling.
It is. I think the only thing I see wrestlers getting tripped up with is when they can't take a punch. So
Right.
you start off with wrestling, but then you get a good boxing coach and a good Muay Thai coach that's not gonna not focus on the defense end, because a lot of times people just focus on the offense, and then you start getting hit and you're just like, well, I don't like this, I'm just gonna shoot with my eyes closed, and then you start getting knocked out. But I definitely feel like if I were to erase like all my skill points and start over, I would start with wrestling, then Muay Thai, then boxing, then jiu-jitsu. Actually, no, I'd probably do wrestling and jiu-jitsu at the same time.
At the same time, right.
Yeah. And then like Muay Thai, I feel like the learning curve is a lot faster. So you can get to a point where your athleticism will beat people who've been doing it longer than you faster in Muay Thai than you can in like jiu-jitsu and wrestling. Like with those, the skill.
I think you got to put the time in jiu-jitsu. Like
you got to put the time in jiu-jitsu, and you have to put the time in wrestling. Wrestling is so stupid hard to learn as an adult. Like as an adult is so stupid hard. It's like anything that doesn't have adult classes normally, like gymnastics,
right,
you know,
like I mean, like you should have learned this when you were 10, or you're not gonna learn it. Right.
You're not gonna learn that shit. You're too old. Just try.
Your back's gonna hurt. Your neck's gonna get jacked up. You're all that like, I'm doing burpees when my workout's going. I don't want to wrestle. Like I know exactly what you're saying. Like wrestling looks like the suckiest of all disciplines, but it's also the one that everybody, they say like, if you have that wrestling cardio, if you have that wrestling mindset, and you have that wrestling endurance of the grind, of the pain, of the never ending, they always talk about how the wrestling is what you can do to people to bring it, to drown them in a fight. Like you just take them to deep waters. They can't get out of it. And there is something about people who are able to keep that, that grinding wrestling pressure on, because look I'm not the biggest Colby Covington fan in the world, but that dude can fight. Whatever. He's whatever. He's just a clown. He's just corny, really. What it is, I really don't have an issue with him. It's just corny. But like, it's just corny. I'm just tired of that. He's just corny,
a little dork like us,
Yeah, but but he can fight, and that whole wrestling that he has, that ability to just keep going and keep putting the pressure on, is like, for the love of Christ. Like I can tell that I would be the type 2 that would be like, just get the frig off me, like just get off me, like I just can't, like I just get off me. Like I know I would have zero patience for wrestlers. I would be so frustrated.
You would be the one who's like mounted and throwing like elbows.
Right, just stop. I fucking hate you. Wrestling me. I fucking hate you. Like I know I would. I can't even
out of it, even though I know it's not gonna work.
The idea of somebody wrestle effing me for, oh my God, I would hate that. I would hate it. I
don't even like it when it's fun.
I would hate it. Hey, so listen, I have a question for you. We'll get some folks' questions too, on your take, because you were there. I watched from home, but you were actually at Honda Center, and I know you were throwing some back, because there's some really cute pictures of you and Jess, and some funny stuff that you and Jess were getting a little frisky. But what was the crowd like? Because we know it was a very pro Moreno fan base there.
Yes.
But Davis and Figueiredo is very, very good. Look, I'm cool with them taking my money for the 4th one. I thought it was a stupid close fight. Like I can't get mad. Going into this fight, I did think Brandon was going to win, just because I thought that the champ was just going to retain because of the last fight. And I also just thought that he had the momentum, he had the mindset, and I just thought there was kind of more weight on Figueiredo's shoulders. And I just kind of thought that I thought training with Henry was going to be great. I just thought there was that comfortability that comes with being the champion. And I just kind of thought Brandon was going to retain. That said, incredibly close fight. I can't freak out at the decision. It was wicked close. And Figueiredo did have bigger power shots and landed some takedowns and stuff. Like, I'm not mad. I think it is what it is. And go ahead and fight another time.
I would love to see a 4th fight. I feel like it's only fair, because when you look at the global scorecard, the verdict thing that they do, it's split straight down the middle. It was 2-2 going into the fifth round in most people's eyes. And then the fifth round was razor close. Like it was like right down the middle. Nobody knew who won that fifth round. And the problem with judging is that they don't give out draw rounds. They're like, we have an odd amount of rounds for a reason, because this is a tiebreaker round and somebody's going to win it. And I don't care if it's the wrong person. So I feel like a draw would have been the most fair decision.
Could you imagine another draw though?
And they're just really evenly matched. Like, how many people bunched up in the top 5 are like that, in every weight class? You have so many people who are like so evenly matched that they could fight a million times in a row. And you would keep tuning in to see it. Like when TJ Dillashaw and Dominic fought, like
I'd watch them fight a bunch.
Yeah, like there's fights like that a lot of times, and this time they've both been champions, so it's kind of an odd one. But yeah, man, I feel like it's only fair to give one more shot, because Brandon Moreno is the only one who won decisively. Out of their 3 matches, it was a draw. Brandon won. Brandon finished him. But then Figueiredo, he did a lot of damage in that fight. He knocked flash. It was flash knockdowns, but they were hard shots, power shots. And I was thinking that Figueiredo was going to take it on the scorecards, but I didn't agree with which rounds the judges gave to him. You know what I mean?
Okay.
But I thought Figueiredo was going to take it in the scorecards, but it was so close. So I feel like it's only fair to have like that tiebreaker one, because it's like one apiece and a draw.
Right, because the draw, exactly. So even if it's almost like there's only been 2 fights. Like, you know what I mean? Like, yeah.
But yeah, TJ was in the house. I mean, we were pretty close. We were about 3 hours from TJ. So I think everybody and their mama came up who wasn't in the big stadium where they play it on the big screen. In TJ, like everyone came up to Anaheim to watch the fight, and they were loud. They were booing Figgy when he lost. It was a really live crowd, but I was happy that Brandon had that support, because he's such a good guy. He's such a good champion. And man, I can't wait to watch him fight again. I don't care who it is. And, even if it isn't a title fight, I do think he's going to make his way right back up there, make his way right back up to that title shot. And maybe if they give Figgy someone else and he loses the belt to that person, that would be a great story as well for Brandon to come in and try to regain his title back.
Yes. I mean, they are both, and I tweeted this earlier, that I was just like, look, I can't get mad at that decision, because it was so close, and both of them are awesome and brought so much excitement to the division that, when you think about this division almost went away, and now here we are, and we got guys like these two, but we also have Kai Kara France, who's killing it. Brandon Moreno was on with us a couple of weeks ago as well, and Brandon Moreno, I mean, not Brandon Moreno,
Brandon Royval.
Brandon Royval was on with us a couple weeks ago too, and Brandon Royval is awesome. Like, the flyweights have been, I've always liked watching lighter weight class guys because of the activity level and the pace and the technique. And maybe, people who want to just watch guys like Francis and Cyril because they want those big, powerful knockouts, maybe they don't think that happens as much in the lighter weight classes. But what you see is I feel like a lot of time, the lighter the weight class, the more almost better matched they are, right? And like, to where the fights are so competitive and the technique is so high level, and you never, like, you can't take a breath. There's no pausing. Nobody stalls in a flyweight fight. You know what I mean? Like, they just go. They just go, and it's
like
really
Tasmanian
entertaining.
devils.
Cats in a bag, I always say.
Yes,
exactly.
Cats in a bag. Because it's so fast, they're so small, so you have to be good, and we talked about this before, but when you're the smallest person at the gym, your technique has to get on point. Otherwise, you're getting ass kicked every day by the bigger guys. And like, the bigger guys are 145ers, 155ers. Like, sometimes you're training with welterweights, and it doesn't make any sense, but you have to do it. I mean, Hakeem's over here walking around at 180. Right. He probably has a flyweight training partner,
Totally.
Like, come on, dude. Like, what? Come on,
And
lose
even
some
as a
weight so you can
45er,
help
he
me out.
probably has to train with big dudes, right? So the
Yeah.
little guys have to be on point with everything.
So that's why you see such great technique at 125 because they kind of have to be. It's survival instinct. That's how you get through fight camp is by
Right.
having the best technique in the gym.
Because in theory, Kai Kara France is training with Adesanya.
I
And
mean, in
sparring with him.
theory, yeah, yeah, they have to mix it up with everyone. And when I was at Alliance, I was training with Jeremy Stevens. That's like, I don't want to do drills with you, like.
You can miss
But
and
it
knock me out,
happens.
right? Yeah,
It
right.
happens. Like you got to partner up with somebody. You got to do the back and forth drills and stuff, and sometimes sucks. But if your technique is good, it doesn't suck as much as it could.
Well, I will say this then, yeah, and honestly, before Figueiredo was kind of more of the bad guy because he had missed weight and the stuff with Joe and people kind of positioned him as a bad guy. But I don't think he's a bad guy, and he's fun to watch. I like his style. I like the flash with the hair. He used to be a hairdresser, which is why
That
he
is
always does
crazy.
the cool stuff. I know with
Yeah.
the hair.
And he has a God of War thing. Like I think
Right,
that's what
right,
that was. Like it's a video game reference too. So
right, right,
it's pretty dope. That's for you Twitch guys on here.
They'll
That's for
together.
you Twitch guys. He's referencing the
Exactly.
video games and everything.
Yeah, so as much as I love Brandon because I did the Ultimate Fighter. I used to do Tough Talk, and we of course know that Brandon was the last pick, and like what an amazing story for him. And I work with him. We work with him a lot. He does the broadcast in Spanish, and so there's so much of my heart was rooting for Brandon to have a good showing. But I got absolutely zero problems with Figgy, and I think he's really good and really fun to watch too. So
well, you know how it is. We need a bad guy. We need a bad guy.
I know,
like, and
right.
Figueiredo is probably the reason they kept the
he's a good bad guy.
The flyweights. That's probably the reason they kept the flyweights because he's knocking people out. He's dropping people. He's that clip that they showed with Joe Benavidez.
He messed up Joe.
Where he like choked him out, and it was just
violent.
so nasty because you saw his whole body contort backwards. He was exciting, and I think people were missing that because unfortunately they weren't vibing with Demetrius Johnson as champion because he was too good. He was too technical. He was too perfect in every performance. So the moment that they could get rid of him, they did. And once people started seeing flyweights who did have mistakes, did take more risk, people getting dropped, getting knocked out, getting choked out, that's something that they were like, okay, I think we can market this again. Like I think people are going to be excited to watch this. So
for sure,
there you go. Figueiredo, he saved the flyweights essentially, and even though he's doing the bad guy act, it's working, and people are tuning in to see the good guys win. So
agreed.
Good job,
and
Figgy.
Good job, Figgy. And it's another champ for Brazil. And it is important to have a Brazilian champion. Amanda lost her title. We do have Glover Teixeira at light heavyweight, but like Brazil is a major powerhouse in MMA, obviously. So for them to be able to have a champ again, and we have Oliveira obviously as well, for them to have champs. So it's important. Like you kind of always assume there should be a few Brazilian champs. Like there just should.
Yeah, but you can't take out the Mexican champ.
No, I didn't know. I'm saying I didn't want. I know.
TJ.
I didn't. Believe me. Oh, believe me. And speaking of Mexican champs, this whole thing the other day when we were at work, and I was like, I think that the whole Cain Velasquez thing with like Cain's injuries, the Cain to me seems to be one of the bigger like missed opportunities, kind of like we were promised so much more, and it's just like the injury thing for me. Like Cain is one of those guys where I really feel we got robbed because we should have been able to see so much more from him, and we should have been able to see a Mexican heavyweight champ just like wrecking shop, and he's so good. Like the Cain thing like legit bums me out, especially too when we really talk about all these other heavyweights, and everybody's talking about what's Stipe going to do, and obviously Stipe's incredible, and Aspinall is going to be the main event in London, which is going to be fun. But I know, that's going to be cool. But like Cain is one of those where I do go, damn, like we missed. Like it's not fair. Like we should have been able to have more Cain.
Yeah, no, I agree. And it's weird looking back at Kane's career because when I had my second fight in the UFC, yeah, my second fight in the UFC, that's when the whole sea level Kane thing happened because it was in
Sea level
Mexico.
Kane,
Sea level
exactly.
Kane because it was in Mexico City and nobody told us that you should go
Yes.
early, go for a month. So we're all just sucking air,
And meanwhile,
dying.
Fabricio Verdum is a good buddy of mine. So you know that I was all team Verdum on that one. Sorry, folks.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like that whole trajectory, like that's when it
Yeah.
started to go downhill. Sea Level King kind of started that, uh, yeah, that crashing his
It's just a lot of
career
injuries.
going back
So
down to sea
yeah,
level. Yeah, it sucks. And
that was tough.
it is nice to see when people are able to overcome injuries and just not being able to fight for whatever reasons for years and years. But yeah, he wasn't able to. But with Moreno, he has that roller coaster ride story that you just love to buy into. And
Yes.
yeah, that's great. Oh, and
Nice.
Robert Paulson
I
said,
was going to say, yeah, I
oh
want to look
yeah,
at
go
some
for it.
questions here. No, no, no. I
Yeah.
was just looking. Well, some people are asking. Al Snow is asking Angie. You seem so down to earth, and such a fresh perspective. But Al is also wondering. I guess Al, yeah, Angie does stream on Twitch. We do this every Sunday,
Yes.
and so she's over there on Twitch every Sunday. And I actually was thinking, Angie, I might start a Twitch channel just so that I can broadcast the stuff with Hanato over there on Tuesdays. But I don't. But
Oh,
I was like, oh,
nice.
and play some of my games as well. But like somebody mentioned to me the other day in the comments, they were like, Angie has her friend request turned off or something like that. So like, are
What?
you on the PlayStation Network or something? They said like you
Did
had.
I? Oh no, you know what? I just have a ton of friend requests.
Oh
I
wow!
haven't I
Oh,
have so many.
sorry.
I made the mistake of putting my thing in my bio, my my tag name in my bio. So people will just like send me friend requests randomly and then I never knew who's asking about it. They're like, "Hey, I sent you a friend request." I'm like, I don't see it. I'm sorry. But if I'm ever like gaming or something and people want to jump on there, I've done that in the past. So I think I just got to get my Twitch set back up and running so I can have the game capture thing hooked into the stream labs and that's hooked into the Twitch and it's a process. It's a process. When we redo our little podcast room, we're definitely gonna have a nice little setup. You guys
Nice.
can watch me beat my husband as Street Fighter.
Nice. Oh, and speaking of beating your husband, for folks who didn't see this, you made you know your my bookie videos are always good. But you may have
Thank
outdone
you.
yourself on this last one because even my buddy Shek Congo was like retweeted and he was like, okay, this is
Yes.
legit hilarious. So can you explain to the folks what you did in your last video?
Okay, so this guy has been going viral. The Detroit Urban Survival Training guy. This guy, that guy has been going viral
With the
because
little stash and
with the
yeah.
little mustache. Oh my god, little Mario stash. He's gone viral because he's been teaching people how to dodge bullets
How to
and
die. He's teaching them how to die.
dude, and it just looks so bad. Like it looks so bad. And but then now he's become this celebrity and you're not sure if people are actually buying into it or if they're just humoring him or if they enjoy the clout of going and trying out the defense things, the self-defense stuff with them. But it's such a weird phenomenon. And it was like almost as soon as people were making fun of him, that's when you started seeing people like Snoop Dogg doing stuff with him. And a
Right.
couple UFC fighters have done stuff with him. So I'm just like, dude, this is so crazy. So my bookie ads are just these silly ads that I do. And because no one else has fun with it, I'm like, okay, every time I get a my bookie ad, I'll like dress up as a silly character or something and do this ad. And so this time I did Overkill Urban Survival Training. And I
But
just
you're
showed
like,
up.
how to survive a heavyweight, and it's so
Yeah, how
ridiculous.
to survive a heavyweight attack. So if a heavyweight attacks you, like a Francis Ngannou or a Cyril Gane, I gave you guys different techniques in order to survive. So go on my IG at Angie Overkill, and you can see how to survive. And honestly, I think Ngannou might have watched my tape because the techniques worked. They worked. I'm
You're
just
like,
saying.
I like 'em.
I'm just gonna leave that there.
They're
And
so
maybe
good. It's so
yeah,
funny.
it's really
I
fun. I feel like I should do characters for this sometimes, but it's
I know.
like
Well, we've thought about the folks. We've thought about that because yeah, we've thought about doing some characters. So I have a feeling we're going to do a character episode. And it's
okay.
funny because you do those my bookie things, and I'm probably going to start doing Karyn videos.
And this
If
is the
folks have,
guy.
yeah, oh, there he is. Yes. So for folks who haven't seen that, yes, that's who Angie is mocking. And I have a short blonde, quote unquote Karen wig.
Oh,
And
nice.
there are some things that I was thinking, I was like, yeah, I need to start doing Karen videos because
You
maybe
do,
that,
and this is
yeah,
my
oh,
costume.
there you go. It's so good. It's so good. Whose shoes were you? What shoes were you? You're wearing like these fancy patent leather shoes. So
Oh
it's so
yeah, I was wearing the shoes I actually wore to the fights. They're like these like Aldo like fake tennis shoe
right,
dress
right.
shoes, but I'm like, ah, this looks like the shoe that he wears.
And
But yeah,
that's your hubby as the whipping boy, right? That's Adam as the
yes,
whipping boy. It's
yes,
so
I'm happy
funny.
you couldn't tell who he was. We hid his identity for a reason. You know, these are secret secret
It's so
techniques.
funny, but I agree with you. Like being in character, because I might do, like I said, I might do Karen videos because that
Yeah,
Karen can complain about stuff and like just rant and say things that like Karen, the UFC employee, probably shouldn't say. But
there you
Karen,
go.
maybe she'll say some of those things. So
There
we'll
you
see.
go. There you go. I can't wait to see Karen. You transform. Like it's like you get more light skinned when you
I
put that wig
totally,
on. It
but
doesn't
everybody's
make
like,
sense.
I know, and people are like, "Oh my god, like you're not, you guys get mad at people doing blackface. You did whiteface." I was like, "I actually did not.
I
It's
remember
actually
that. It's like,
exactly who I am. I put
no.
blue eyeshadow on and a blonde wig, and that's exactly what I did.
It was the color combination of the blue eyeshadow. It just brought out the
All
yellow.
the whiteness, all the
Yeah.
yellow, all the high yellow came right
Brought out
out."
the beige.
Oh,
It's
listen, Casey
amazing.
Crimson just gave us $10, and really, it's for you, Angie, saying it was
Hey.
epic. You had us rolling, laughing at this. It made me this think of Boss Rutan's amazing self defense videos too.
Yes. And you
So
know what's
funny.
crazy? Me and Adam, we met in what year was that? 2006. We met in
Yeah,
2006 in Japan on student exchange. So this is my little
amazing.
backstory. But one of the things that we bonded with was, and we neither of us knew anything about martial arts or anything. We would bond by watching these Bass Rutan videos and like quoting it. Bang, bang, bang.
Right,
Don't you ever do this. I'm sorry, sir. Are you looking at my wife? You know, like it was
totally.
so silly. And I think it was just like he had just been in Grand Theft Auto too. Like they were
Yeah.
making fun of it in that too. So we would bond by watching these self-defense videos. So I love it when full circle moments happen. So thanks. I'm glad you liked it, Casey.
That's so cool. And it's funny because Boss Rutan, I used to sometimes, I didn't work directly with Boss, but I've known him now for a number of years. And when
Oh, okay.
I used to work with Moro Ronaldo, when I worked on Strike Force things and stuff with
Ah,
CBS. And so Moro and Boss were really close. And so, and obviously, and I worked with a bunch of other folks. So Boss would hang out with us a lot. And I distinctly remember one time being at the Marriott Marquis in San Jose. For folks know, that's where the fight, it was always the Fight Hotel, and it was, yeah, the Marriott. And so we were there, and I remember we were in the bar, and somebody was talking to me and maybe getting a little too close and trying to get a little like whatever. And I remember,
ooh.
and I was like there, and I had Boss, and then it was like so great because Boss Rutan steps in and he's like, is there something you need to say? And I was like, God damn, Boss Rutan defending me. And I was like, oh
That's
boy, it's going
amazing.
down. And so it was so great because I would just kind of like lean back, and it was like, Boss Rutan's going to handle this for me. So thank you
Yeah.
very much. And he's
I'm
wonderful.
sorry,
Like,
sir. I will
I'm
have to
sorry,
break
sir.
your leg.
Exactly. And I've done a lot of interviews and stuff with him, but like he's a wonderful guy. Like I love him. Like he's just great.
Nice. He
He's
just
just
seems
great.
really awesome. Yeah,
He
he's
is really awesome. And
yeah.
he's awesome.
I love the videos. I forget who he was fighting, but it was like open palm. You have to open palm slap the
Yeah.
person. You can't punch them. So he would try to taunt them by making these crazy faces. I forget what it was. I forget
I'm trying to
what
remember what that
yeah,
was
maybe
too.
somebody in the chat knows, but like
Yeah.
he was literally on the ground and the guy would smack him and he'd go and he's trying to get him to close his fist so he gets disqualified.
So great. So
It's
great.
so amazing.
Hey, listen, I wanted before I know we should wrap it up soon, but one of the other questions that came in, and this was from Terrence Leverett, who also gave us $10. So thank you so much, Terrence.
Hey, thanks,
He was
Terrence.
asking about one of the women's fights. He said, do you think it was a mistake for Kay Hansen to take a fight at flyweight? There's a bigger percentage from strawweight to flyweight. And then he also said, and also Angie won that fight and should have gotten that Andrade shot. Yeah. So, but yeah, it is interesting because we do see that a lot of time people take short notice fights, and we see a lot of the girls lately have been going between strawweight and flyweight. And it is, it seems like it's quote unquote only 10 pounds. But like he said, it is a bigger percentage of your body weight. For you to gain 10 pounds, Angie as a 115er is a much bigger deal. So I unfortunately can't comment because I didn't see that fight. But just in general, like, yeah, what do you make of girls switching between those two classes?
I think it's hard because just like what we were saying with the flyweights, how they fight different, they fight faster. You get different looks at different weight classes. So when you're fighting someone who is probably closer to your size, a lot of straw weights, because we're the last weight class, a lot of straw weights could fight lower. A lot of straw weights could fight higher, but the biggest ones, they blow up. So a lot of times when you're a bigger strawweight, and Kay Hansen seemed to be a bigger strawweight, she always filled out, really, really thick. Like she always looked really meaty when she fights. Suddenly you're fighting people who could be bigger than you, who could be as strong as you, who are taller than you too. So this is a totally different opponent. And yeah, you're training with flyweights, you're training with people who are different sizes, but game day is a totally different feel from sparring, from grappling. Like when you compete in anything, your arms are sore, your forearms feel like you were lifting huge weights because everything is tense, everyone is trying 110%. So it's definitely a different feel when you move up a weight class. And I feel like bouncing between two is never a good idea because you can't you're always going to be at a disadvantage. Either you're having a really tough weight cut or you're undersized. So when you bounce between the two, your body can't really settle, and you can't figure out how you're going to fight with this body. So the bigger body can do slightly different things. The smaller body can maybe move faster or be lighter on the feet. And maybe you have better wrestling against smaller girls. And we saw Kay Hansen got reversed a lot. She went for takedowns, but she couldn't really hold the girl down. And I think it's just a matter of having a stronger opponent and you were doing these things that you were confident doing against strawweights, and is not working at flyweight. But I do think that Kay is young. And I think that if she does move up to flyweight, it would probably be good for her because she is young. She's still hitting growth spurts. Like it's time to just let your body settle into whatever size it's going to be and work on fighting in that weight class, because there are just technical differences, or technical things that she could improve. It wasn't like she got smashed, but it looked like she was fighting her, like she could bully her, and it wasn't working. So I think that was the biggest mistake with that one.
Got it. Well, and also, I mean, and it wasn't necessarily in this case, but also to remember that some of these 25ers are former bantamweights. You know what I mean? So then when you really think about a 15er against a 35er, then you're like, yeah, you wouldn't do that.
No, it's a big jump. And I was so happy when they brought in flyweights, because for a long time it was just straw weights and bantamweight. So you're either gonna be totally undersized, or you're gonna have a crazy weight cut and you're probably not gonna make it, and then hopefully the person still fights you. So it's a tough one, and I always forget how small I am until I'll see someone like one of my teammates who I'm always training with. Like if I'll be training with flyweights, right? And then I'm like, man, I'm just as big as them. And then I see
small.
But no, then I see them cut down to my walk around weight, and they look like skeletons. And I'm like, oh shit, that's what you look like at 125, like the whole time I'm thinking this person is 125, even though they're all like healthy and happy and fed. But when they cut down to 125, you see like, oh yeah, that's your weight class. Like, I don't want to fuck with anything bigger than that skeleton right there, you know?
That's what I'm saying. Cause I basically walk around between flyweight and bantamweight, right? And so I would fight as a flyweight if I were gonna fight, but I'm 5'8". And like, I even know that like for me to get to there, be like, I don't, that'd be hard. Like, I kind of wish I could walk around at a buck 25, but that's hard.
Yeah.
Like, that's hard for me. I think the lowest I get is like, 130. Maybe that was in like Abu
Okay.
Dhabi.
Hey, you were working
Hey,
in
that's why I
Abu
love going there because it's like
Dhabi.
hot and all I eat is like falafel. And I was like, damn, look at me. I look good. But like,
Yeah, all
for
you could
me,
do is run.
right, if
That's
I
all you
had to
could
try,
do for fun.
if I had to make 25, like I said, I wish I could walk around at a buck 25. Like, I would love that, but I can't. That's really, 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 really hard. And so, yeah, the idea that if I cut that weight, though, I could cut it, I'm sure, and if with the help, and make it. But then if I felt like you showed up to, I feel like, oh, this isn't fair. Like, I'm massive. Like, because I know, like, I would feel way bigger than you. Like, I can't even imagine you fighting me. Like, we seem like we're in totally different
Yeah.
classes. Like, it
But like
wouldn't be right.
that's the funny thing. We both have the opposite body dysmorphia where I think I'm really big and it's good, and you think you're big and it's bad.
Oh, I'm huge. I think I'm a welterweight.
I'm like, I'm just
Yeah.
big.
And I'm like, look at Angie. She's so cute and little. I feel like I could put you in my pocket. Like, I feel like all you strawweights are so teeny tiny.
Yeah, we are. But see, that's why I'd grapple you.
But I was just gonna say, you'd beat my ass though. Like, I would totally lose.
crawl under your arms like a little squirrel in a jacket.
You're gonna crawl into my arms like Vanessa Demopoulos underneath Joe Rogan.
Oh my God, yeah.
But she got a performance bonus, so good for her.
I feel like that helped because there was a fight that was crazy. It was the guy with the crazy name, Maladala Hala. Dalla
bills. Yeah,
Dalla. I felt like he deserved the dollars.
That first round was just like, oh my God, let's just throw everything we've ever learned.
Yeah, that was crazy. I'm like,
but yeah, Vanessa got it, and Saeed Nurmagomedov, he also got a bonus, and then also, and so Moreno Figueiredo got fight of the night.
Yeah, it was fair, definitely fair. But yeah, that was so funny. Yeah, and you know what? That also had to have been hard for Moreno because he did have a lot of teammates on that card. I think he said he had 4 teammates on the card, and I think 2 of them lost pretty badly. The girl who fought Demopoulos, she got armbarred, and then I think it was the I think his opponent,
whatever.
His opponent. So it was just like a crazy slugfest, but then he got knocked out. So it's hard to keep that confidence and that focus going backstage when you're thinking about your teammates, even if they win, if they lose, like doubt can creep into your head. And I did feel like Moreno was a little hesitant in moments in that fight, even though he outstruck Figueiredo. Like, Figueiredo just kind of waited, and I think Moreno was waiting with him sometimes, when usually, like in his last fight, he was just giving him things to look at. So I feel like that might have been another tough thing as a champion, as a defending champion, fighting someone you already fought, you already felt like you beat, and then having all these extra things mount up, all this extra pressure. But I also thought I was also worried about Francis with all of his pressure with the fighter pay thing, the contract negotiations, with the teammate thing, and didn't even know about his blown out knee. Didn't even know. Holy shit, and he was still able to thrive in the moment. So yeah, you never know what's gonna affect what.
Yeah, you never know. All right, well, folks, we should probably start wrapping it up. If there was just any last thing to get to, but I think we're good. But you, in general, yes, you had a good time. Oh, somebody, Casey, is saying, and thank you for the $10, that we should get Boz rooting on. We could totally get Boz on. That would actually be really fun. We should do that sometime.
Yeah, that'd be amazing. Yeah.
That would be really.
He remembers me. I wonder. he actually there was this thing called Friday night finishes that they would do on Access TV, and they would go, oh, here are the Friday
Oh, I
night
thought
finishes.
that's what you called your dating life, Friday night.
Right, only if it's a good Friday night. It better be finishes. But yeah, Friday night finishes, it was about fighting, not dating. And in my last Muay Thai amateur fight, I dropped this girl cold, and I was so excited because Bass Rutten actually pulled up the video of my Muay Thai fight, and he was like, all right, then here you see this girl, she's coming in, and bang, and she said bang as I landed the overhand on the girl's chin. So I was very happy about that. So yeah, I wonder if he remembers that. I'm gonna ask him if we ever get him on.
Yeah, he's great. He's great.
Yeah.
I bet we could get him on. That'd be a lot of fun. All right, well, folks. So, like we've said, this is episode 49 of the What Had Happened Was podcast. What's cool is that every week I feel like more people are discovering us and learning about us. And somebody sent me a message on Instagram the other day, and I sent you that screen grab, and they were like, "Yo, KB, like, hey, would you ever be interested?" Like, I forget what they said, but they were like, yeah, I feel like there needs to be more podcasts out there because like everything's just dudes. And like, I really think that the women need to have a voice. I'm like, have you seen our show? We're on episode 48. And they were like, wait, what? And so they didn't even know. And so I understand that even though we've been chugging along, that this is something that people are still discovering, and we feel like we've been doing it for a while at 48, but like people are just finding it. So go back and look. We've done this for a while now. And that means 50. If we're coming up on episode 50, that means we're almost at our 1-year mark.
Oh,
right?
You know what we should do? We should do an episode 50 contest, and we can give something out. Oh, I have these laying around, some bitch fucking season t-shirts. Maybe we could like do a contest for that. Maybe I don't know. What you got, Karyn? What you got, Karyn? What you got to give on the contest?
I don't know. I don't want to give away. Like, I have all these cool old like lanyards and stuff from my fights,
Ooh,
from like
you gotta keep those though.
But yeah, I was just gonna say I'm not giving those away. But we could figure something out, and like, yeah, so we could do a nifty 50 episode, but we could also do the 52 for our year anniversary. We'll have to figure that. But anyway, my point was, folks, that these are also, so this is broadcast on Twitch and Twitter and YouTube live on Sunday nights. We are also on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and iHeartRadio. So yeah, if you're just getting into this, please go check them out. And we invite you to ask questions and things. Like, we definitely want to be there for maybe some of you who are just getting new to MMA, right? Just getting into it and have questions. Like, we're not going to judge you for asking, a question that might be basic. Like, we don't care.
All right. Ooh, somebody suggested a signed pick. I think we can handle that. Get a little signed pick going on or something like that for the giveaway. So yeah. Oh, I was just gonna say bye.
No. There we go. So Angie, where can everybody find you on social media?
Oh yeah, that part. You can find me at Angie Overkill on Instagram, Twitter, at Overkill Hill on TikTok, and Angie Overkill on Twitch.
And they can also find you on Sirius Radio and where?
Yes. And
I just said where. I just said Sirius.
Thank you, Karyn. Look at you. I'm so bad at promoting it. You can also listen to me on Sirius Radio on what's the name of the channel? It's one of the MMA show.
The Fight, isn't it the Fight? I don't
Fight Nation
anymore, but it's Fight Nation, right?
Fight Nation on Wednesdays 12 to 2 Eastern.
It's new, folks. She's just
9 to 11 Pacific. I did it.
Nice.
I did it.
Nice.
Pulling teeth,
girl,
but I did it.
Okay, so listen, folks. On social media, on Instagram, you can find me at KB Heat. On Twitter and YouTube, it's Karyn Bryant, Karyn. Bryant as in Kobe, no relation, but may he rest in peace. I also do Tuesday night festivities and the Tuesday night festivities after party. Guess what? Those are on Tuesday nights. We are moving it an hour earlier. We are going to start earlier this week. We are going to start it at 10 Eastern, 7 Pacific. And we have a massive guest this week. We have Chris Weidman going to be joining us. Yeah. And so for those who don't know, Chris and Hanato actually have a little bit of history. If folks haven't seen on YouTube, they can look up Chris Weidman and Hanato Laranja, and they have some history. So we're gonna get into some stuff on
Okay.
Tuesday.
I'll
Yeah,
check it
when
out.
when they work it out. So it's gonna be interesting. I don't know how it's gonna go, but I'm excited to talk to Chris because I haven't talked to him since
Since the
before
leg.
the leg and all this. And so yeah, I really want to catch up with him, but he's a really good dude. And so yeah, that will be fun. So we start that. Chris will be on with us at 7 o'clock Pacific, 10 Eastern on Tuesday. And then we do the after party over on YouTube about an hour later. And we've been having a lot of fun. We did our 20th episode the other day. And yeah, and so we're just having a good time over there, just goofing off, just being silly,
Awesome.
But I'm excited because I'm working Hakeem's fight. And so if you guys got on the stream late, earlier we spoke with Hakeem Dawodu, who is fighting Mike Trizano on February 5th. So if you missed any of it or joined us late, you should go back and watch the interview because he's a really interesting guy.
If you didn't know, Dawodu.
Yeah,
it was bad. It was bad. It was bad. I'm sorry. Okay, goodbye, guys.
Goodbye. Thank you so much for joining us, though, folks. And yeah, we'll see you next time. Thanks for tuning in, and we appreciate all your support and your questions and everything. You guys are awesome. And yeah, we'll see you next Sunday, right?
Yeah.
Bye. What happened was.